Am I there? Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello.
Perfect. Good morning.
Good morning, man. I'm new to this shit, so be patient.
Same. Samesies.
Okay. Alrighty, well, welcome to the after party hangover, I guess. I'm going to interview Hall of Famer Andy with an I.
Hey.
First, I will start every interview, if I have any more, with the first. Explain your Instagram name to people who are not familiar with you on the Still Real After Party podcast.
Okay, so the origins of the Andy with an I is I was the youngest of four brothers, and they naturally made me the sister. And my brother would say, "Your name's Andy, but with an I and a heart over the I." So as I got older, I just embraced it, and it really didn't bug them any. I mean, it bugged them that it didn't bug me anymore. So, and now it's just a great name that everyone calls me.
Nice. Well, I have a silly question because I think way too much, but why do you have two underscores after Ann?
I think it's because the one underscore was already taken.
Oh, wow. I didn't know it was that common.
I neither did I. That's what my mind was blown. So like, I'll just add an extra underscore. Hopefully that works.
Well, let's tell whoever's listening why you have jumped to the top of the list of the Hall of Famers is because your legendary sign that you brought with you to the Stomping Grounds pay-per-view that says TWG Hart Baron Corbin. Where did you get the idea for this? And are you pleased with the response from Sam?
I definitely saw you set the bar when you met Becky Lynch, and then I believe you went to SummerSlam.
Yeah, it was Survivor Series in LA.
Survivor Series in LA. Yeah, so I was like, man, he set the bar, so I got to go hard for if I ever get the opportunity. So I was trying to live up to your legendary status that you already established when you got to meet Becky Lynch and have her pose with the sign. So I wasn't going to let that opportunity slip through my hands. And with Sam's response, it's perfect because he's already a crazy person, and anything to set him over the edge to make his content better is a win in my book. So he could take all the shots he wants as long as it's funny.
It's been very entertaining watching all the videos between you guys, and I just got to say I'm a fan of this epic rivalry. I mean, there's been Hogan and Macho Man, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold and The Rock, but Andy versus Sam, that's the rivalry of 2019.
I appreciate it. It started off that way too, the Hogan and the Mega Power style, because we were good, in his words, mates for a little bit, because we would share stuff with each other and DM, and then he started talking crap about Mr. Corbin, and I didn't like that. Because I am a Baron Corbin fan.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let's start from the very beginning. How did you begin watching wrestling? Like, who introduced you to wrestling, WWE or WCW, or what was the origin of your wrestling watching?
I believe it started with like in your house era, when you had Shawn Michaels and Diesel were already a thing. And Tatanka was my number one. He was my number one guy. And
wow, Tatanka.
Tatanka was my number one guy because the way he used to do the little war dance in the ring and stuff, like when he would like strut in circles and stuff.
Yes, yep.
I that was my thing that I used to do in my living room, was compy Tatanka.
You didn't put on the headdress, did you, with the paint on your face and stuff?
No, I didn't. I should have. Yeah. Maybe that's why I'm not in the WWE, because I didn't freaking do that.
Do you remember his finisher?
No, I don't even remember his. I could imagine. I know he did the double chop.
Yeah.
But I don't remember what he used to finish opponents. So I'm a crappy fan.
I believe it was the Samoan drop. It might be. It might have been like you know how Benoit did the snap suplex. I think Tatanka did like a snap Samoan drop, if memory serves correct, but I don't know. I could be mixing up some shit. But how did you come across the Still Roll After Party podcast?
I used to listen to the old one, Still Real to Us, I believe was it, with
Still
Josh
Real
and
Radio?
Zanka. Yeah, Still
Yeah.
Real Radio with
Yeah.
Josh and Zanka, and that one was good. And out of nowhere, it just stopped, and I don't even know how I came across their page on Facebook. It just started popping up in ads and I was like, these memes are pretty funny, so I started following them.
Nice.
Yeah, and I was pretty bummed out when they stopped Still Real Radio.
I kept checking and refreshing the page like every day to see when a new podcast would show up, and it never did. So I gave up and I moved on to like Wade Keller and Wrestling Inc. and stuff. And then all of a sudden, I see Still Real After Party. I'm like, what the heck? So I just downloaded it for the heck of it, and there's Zanka again with a new host. And it wasn't at the very beginning. It was probably maybe a month or two in. But yeah, it's still funny. He's still doing a good job with the podcast. Do you have a favorite moment or a segment from the current incarnation of the Still Real After Party?
I got anytime they interview Matt Taven is really good. I think they've done it twice since they've been under this banner.
Yes.
Those have been some of my favorite. But the solo episode that Zanka did, his first solo was pretty good.
Did he have his wife on that one?
Yeah, I think he had his lady on the second solo one because he's done a couple without Jake.
Yeah.
And then I'd have to say the first of my all-time favorite is when they read my first question, because that's what started this whole nonsense and led me to where I am right now.
Zanka's so good at improv that when he answers the question, he always says something funny, and it's why it's always fun to ask the most random fucking questions. And you're the king of the questions. I gotta tell you, I'm a fan, and you always close out the show, and it just always makes me laugh. The every time they read your question.
It's hard. It's very hard. I've been trying to stay consistent. There's a couple, I know there's at least 10 to 15 duds that I've asked, but in the beginning it was really easy to ask random questions, and then it's so you don't realize how fast you run out of content. It's just,
do you come up with it the night before? Do you have it during the week, or do you wake up in the morning and be like, oh, I'll ask something?
Okay, so that is perfect. I'm glad you asked. 90% of the time, I wake up in the morning. I look for the post, and I take a crap, and I do my work there. That's where I do my best thinking.
That's where the magic happens, man.
Yeah, and then some of the ones that are not so good, I'm driving around. I'm working in a job where I could just drive around all day, and I'm trying to get from place to place. And I'm usually the passenger, so I'd say 10% of the other questions I think of come from when I'm just sitting in the passenger seat, bouncing ideas off my the guy who's driving.
Is he almost driving the traffic because you make him laugh so damn much?
Luckily, where we're driving is all country roads, so we laugh together though. And when I'm showing him stuff, he kind of falls off the side of the road a little bit, but. No accidents yet. Just a couple red lights been run, but
I've noticed that you got your son into WWE. Explain how he first got into it. What grabbed his attention?
It was the John Cena memes and the Thomas the Train John Cena memes because he used to love Thomas the Train when he was younger, and then the John Cena anytime. He would go ape shit for that. I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss. I'm allowed to cuss.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
All right, cool. He would go ape shit over that, and he started watching, and then he really had a blast when I took him to a WWE live show, and that's when he fell in love with the Usos and the Fashion Police.
Nice.
Yeah.
How many live events has he been to?
So his first live event, he's kind of like Paige. He went to his first live event in the womb. um, WWE did Tribute to the Troops when I was stationed in North Carolina, and my wife was pregnant at the time, so I dragged her ass in there. I said, "You're going, no choice," and she came with me, and we his first live event was then, and he got to hear Nickelback perform that night too. So he had like the most WWE experience ever.
You know what? I think I might be the final remaining Nickelback fan because the best concert I've ever been to was a Nickelback concert because they gave out booze for free. We were in the front and they were passing out tequila shots, vodka shots. They were just getting the audience drunk. Maybe that's how they captured my attention. But I don't know where the origin for the Nickelback hate came from, but oh well, I guess I get it.
I think it's on the level of like Nicolas Cage. You know, it's like a good hate, kind of like
exactly.
That one time Nicolas Cage was like every friggin' movie, and Nickelback would come out with an album like every 5 months.
How many live events or pay-per-views have you been to?
Oh man, I would have to say I remember the first one I ever went to was the Triple H and Stephanie. Well, no, it was Test and Stephanie wedding at the Staples Center.
Holy crap, that's a long time ago.
That was my first WWE event, and my friend I went to middle school with, his aunt is Ivory, so she got us the tickets. And
that's cool.
And we got to meet Stephanie after, Shane McMahon's wife, Mick Foley, D'Lo Brown, and I couldn't remember who the third superstar was, but they signed my WWE Volume 4 CD.
Holy shit, dude, that's cool, man.
And the funny thing about it was I went to talk, when I asked Stephanie, I was like, how the hell did that happen? And it's so funny, growing up, I'm 31 years old now, and Stephanie McMahon got date rape drugged that night. And all she could tell 4 little kids was, oh, that Triple H, we're just going to have to get that guy.
Was she nice, like super nice?
Oh, yeah, she was very nice.
Yeah, that was back when she was hot, huh?
That was pre-boob job. So she was innocent.
Yeah, they're untainted.
Yeah, untainted.
Well, except for the Macho Man stuff. But
yeah, except for the Macho Man. Yes, yes.
So you've been a lifelong WWE fan. Do you have any particular favorite theme song from the past 30 some odd years?
Oh man. So do I have to limit it to just one? Like gun to my head, one, or top 3?
No, you could have like a top 3, top 5, or whatever, because it's hard to just pick one.
I'd have to say the Disturbed rendition of
Stone Cold, right?
Stone Cold.
Yes.
That's all time number 1.
The perfect workout song.
Yes. Perfect workout song.
I don't work out, but still, if I worked out, that would be a song I'd pick.
I work out like my current workout playlist. I got Undisputed Era. That's my go-to when I'm lifting heavy shit.
Yeah.
And then you gotta go old school black and white NWO. Those are like my top 3.
Nice. You know what's going through my head is Hogan's Jimi Hendrix song.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Man, how could they afford? Oh wait, that's right. Hogan's a billionaire.
Yeah. I hate watching old WCW stuff and they're not playing that song when I'm on the network.
Yeah, the music rights, man, that sucks. Like all the pay-per-view songs are gone. It's just
it takes me out of it.
Okay, how about a top 3 favorite WWE superstar list?
Okay, top 3.
So all time.
All time. I gotta go. Well, I'm gonna in the top 3. My current right now it's Matt Taven. That guy's the shit.
Nice. Yeah.
But I'm sorry, you said WWE, right?
No, it could be. I misspoke. It could be anybody.
I apologize. But Matt Taven.
Okay. AEW, WCW, like anything.
I go Matt Taven, and then all-time WWE would have to be Shawn Michaels, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's excellent.
That freaking mullet in the back in the day was the shit.
With Sherry on his arm?
Yep. Oh, He was a sexy boy.
Do you have a favorite match? I know
um,
that's like a needle in the haystack because there's so many, but is there
I
one that
do.
you just blew you away?
I do have a favorite match. Oh, and then my number three would be Goldberg. I'm sorry, everybody. I love Goldberg. I
Oh,
can't help it, but
wow.
I love Goldberg.
Controversy.
Shit on me, and that I think Sam hates Goldberg, so it makes it even better that I love Goldberg.
Wait a minute. Does that mean that you're taking Goldberg tonight over
Oh,
Dolph?
oh yeah, of course.
Oh, wow. Well,
You
we'll see
haven't,
what happens.
yeah, you haven't seen a bigger pop in my house than when Goldberg squashed a Brock Lesnar in like a minute and whatever seconds in Survivor Series that one
Did
year.
Did you lose your goddamn mind?
I did. I was laying on my side watching the match, and I jumped up and like almost hit my head on the ceiling.
Was your kid watching too? Was he excited?
No, sometimes with the big four pay-per-views, the wife and son know to leave me alone, and I just stay there with my chicken nuggets and my beer, and I just watch.
The big
I get my
four you have to pay attention to. Turn yourself turn your phone on airplane mode or whatever you do. Tell people not to call you. Make sure you got your snacks, your booze. Make sure you got a big TV that's very loud,
extremely,
and you can
and
pay attention to every detail.
my neighbors know my distinct yell, and they know who I am. I found out from when they were telling my wife. The kids were telling my wife, "Why do I always yell so much?" And she's like, "It's probably because he's watching wrestling."
Well, it's good that they're not thinking domestic violence. They're thinking, "Oh, it's Monday Night Raw."
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Oh man.
So, did you is Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg your favorite match?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was like my most recent one, just because of
Yes.
but all time favorite. When I was a little kid, it was The Rock versus X Pac that went to a time limit draw on a Monday Night Raw when Triple H was
Wow.
hurt. When Triple H was hurt, and Triple H was hurt. I believe he was like in the wheelchair, and X Pac was fighting The Rock on behalf of him, and he was getting all the Intercontinental title shots. And it was a time limit draw. X Pac hit The Rock with the X Factor, and like as he's rolling over to pin him, the time limit draw goes off, and it was just such a build up because
Oh,
X
wow.
Pac was getting his ass kicked the whole time. I remember that when I was a little kid, and I thought that was like the coolest freaking match. X Pac versus The Rock
That's how
on
you
Monday
know
Night
you're
Raw.
a true wrestling fan. You picked one of the most obscure moments, one of the most obscure matches, because casual wrestling fan would be like, "Oh man, it'd be Hogan and Warrior WrestleMania," or but
Uh huh.
something that obscure. That's awesome, man. I do remember that vaguely, but shit, how many times have you watched that match?
I haven't rewatched it since. It probably doesn't have the same magic as it did, but I remember when I was because that made it so special. When I was a little kid, I wasn't allowed to stay up past 9 o'clock, and I didn't have DirecTV yet, so I had to watch it in my bed with the music on. I mean, with the volume on low, and my
Yeah.
brother would kick my ass if I was up too late watching wrestling.
Nice, man. That's cool. Okay, well, I've uh I've asked about 51 Instagram questions on the Steel Rail After Party podcast, and so I'm gonna pick a specific one I asked. That's one of my favorites to ask you.
Okay.
Okay, this one is: has there ever been a storyline WWE has done that legit pissed you off?
Mm. That legit like got me so mad.
Yeah, you're all paying attention, you're into it and everything, and then something horrible happens and it ruins the rest of your day, and you're in a bad mood. I mean, even though everything's kayfabe, I mean, it's still being a true fan. It might affect you.
Oh,
Can
there've
you think
been
of
times.
any storylines or moments or end of matches that really pissed you off?
I would have to say um, the WrestleMania. I think it was 19. That was in Washington.
That's my favorite WrestleMania.
Yeah, the payoff to there was no payoff. Versus Triple H,
Oh
and
yeah,
that was like the most devastating loss for a wrestler to go through because he got pedigreed in like 20. It seemed like 20 minutes passed by, and he got pinned for the 1, 2, 3, and it was like, what the hell? All of that stuff, those racial undertones that they were throwing towards this whole feud, and
Could
oh
you
my God,
imagine if they did that today? How much shit they would get?
Oh my God.
Oh man. Have you ever played any of the WWE video games?
Yep, I was a frequenter of WCW versus NWO World Tour when that came out.
Awesome.
That was my jam because WCW was killing it with the video games.
Yeah.
And then came WrestleMania 2000.
Yep.
Oh, and I used to play that one game for NES. It's the one where I know Lex Luger, like when he threw his punch, his hands would be stone, and he would that arcade beat 'em up one. That was a good one.
Wouldn't Undertaker hit you with an actual tombstone? Do you remember that shit?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, the N64, WCW, NWO Revenge, WrestleMania 2000, and No Mercy. Those were like the go-to games back in the 90s. I wish they could replicate that today, because today it's like way too complicated now. Like the reversing and everything. Like I still play the WWE video games because I never grew up, but you'll never beat those Nintendo 64 versions of WWE games. Did you have a go-to character? Was it always Stone Cold, or on the WCW was it Sting or whatever?
For WCW versus NWO Revenge, I always went with Goldberg.
That's right.
And Booker T.
Nice.
Yeah, and then for the World Tour, I beat everybody, so you can get Macho Man as a secret character, I believe, or was it Macho Man as a secret character?
Is World Tour on N64?
That was the N64.
Huh.
Yeah, that was N60. That was like, it had like the Steiner brothers, and it had it's when Hall and Nash were the outsiders still.
Oh, I don't know if I've ever played that because I played the Revenge one, but I'm not familiar with World Tour.
Yeah, this is the one before it, and then it's set the groundwork, and they just kept improving it. For some reason, I always pick Christian in WrestleMania.
Holy crap, Christian!
Yeah, and I don't even think he had a finishing move. Yeah, it's when he had the pirate shirt and everything. Yeah, he was a vampire.
Yep.
I didn't even think he had a finisher in that game. I think it was just like a generic like DDT or something.
So you would run outside the ring, get a chair, beat the shit out of the guy, hit him with the DDT, and call it a match?
Pretty much.
SummerSlam is tomorrow. Do you have a favorite SummerSlam match?
Oh, SummerSlam. I'd have to go with The Rock versus Triple H, the ladder match.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
When Triple H finally beat The Rock and finally got that Intercontinental, that was like a monumental moment.
That was Triple H in his purple tights, huh?
That was the purple tights. Yep.
Yeah, that was a really, really good match. Ladder matches usually never disappoint, and that was a really good one. Personally, I picked Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect in 1991 for the Intercontinental Championship.
Mm-hmm.
It blew my mind. Have you seen that one?
No, I talk about crappy fan. Holy crap.
Well, it always fascinated me when people kicked out of finishers, and nobody had ever kicked out of Mr. Perfect's Perfect Plex. And when Bret Hart kicked out of that Perfect Plex, I shit my pants. Like I was like, "Holy, this is possible!" Like I know it was kayfabe, but I mean, finishers usually finished people, and nobody
they were sacred back then
of the Perfect Plex before. And plus, the match was just intense and technical, and it was amazing. Well,
was that the one in Wembley?
No, I don't think so. I don't remember where it was, but I think it was in the U.S. at least.
Okay.
With NXT TakeOver happening today, Are you looking forward to which match are you looking forward to the most out of the 5?
I want to see Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish shut up the Street Profits.
Well, that'll give Street Profits more time to hype up Monday Night Raw, I guess.
I hope that's what that's leading to.
Yeah. I believe tonight's going to be undisputed all the way. I wouldn't be surprised if Roderick Strong takes that title as well and Cole retains. At least give them one pay-per-view to celebrate, all of them draped in gold like they keep talking about. And then the next pay-per-view, they can all lose them and then get called up and then forgotten about.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Whether they get called up for some Survivor Series or they all surprise in the Rumble. I mean, they still got let them have their time so they can come up to the main roster with some momentum.
Man, could you imagine the Undisputed Era storming Survivor Series? Who do you think they would put the Undisputed Era against? What good faction could they take on as heels?
I definitely think it wouldn't be like a faction. I think it would be like a hodgepodge of good guys.
They just randomly throw a bunch of people at them so they could lose.
like Seth or something like they did versus Nexus. But hopefully they do it right this time and Nexus, the Undisputed Era, wins.
You know what's gonna happen if they ever do that? It might be like Undisputed Era versus New Day, and they have Bobby Fish wait on the outside, and then I don't know. They always seem to screw shit up. Well, yeah. SummerSlam tomorrow. Did you have a match you were looking forward to on that card out of 10 matches?
I would like to see. I think the top 3 would be KO versus Shane. Yes. I want to see that just because that's the best storytelling that they've done. Even though everyone hates Shane, but KO's really bringing it up.
Do you have a prediction on the outcome of that one?
Yeah, I think Shane's going to win and KO's going to have to quit and then they're going to build it up to something more and drag this out.
I wonder if Shane wins at the end of the match, he grabs the mic and goes, "You're fired."
That would be pretty funny.
Or he has Vince come out and say it. That'd be fucking funny.
That'd be even better.
Of course, you're looking for Goldberg, right? Looking forward to that, yeah.
If that doesn't main event, I don't know what else. Cause
I bet you it'll be more interesting than Brock versus Seth because I have no idea how they're going to finish that one. Brock will probably retain, but
that would be amazing if he retained. I know everyone hates Brock Lesnar, but I want someone believable that can beat him.
Yeah, Seth has only beaten him by boxing his beanbag. I don't know if he can actually do it legit.
Yeah, I don't really know, and you got to make me believe. I mean, at least with Daniel Bryan, Finn Balor, and AJ Styles, they made it believable. So
yes,
hopefully they can. Hopefully it's not just 50 F5s and 49 kickouts.
It'll be 50 F5s. The referee will get distracted. Seth is gonna kick Brock in the balls, win the championship. The next night on Raw, Brock takes it back. Watch.
Yeah.
God, I wish WWE wouldn't program our brains to think of the obvious shit.
Yeah, exactly. And then watch. They'll probably do a swerve. They're training us this way so they can swerve us really fast.
I guess. It's working.
No, it's not going to happen.
Well, all right, man. Well, that was cool. That was nice to get to know you. It's cool 30 minutes. Let's see if this even sees the light of day.
Yeah, hopefully.
I'm going to try and send it to Jake somehow, but maybe he can put it on the YouTube so instead of the Patreon if other people want to listen to it, they can. That's
great. I appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time to ask me a few questions.
Yeah, no problem, man. It was entertaining, and enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the comments.
I'll see you in the comments. Can I say one last thing?
Yes.
One last thing. All right, just to piss Sam off. Let us not forget that Baron Corbin is the one who single-handedly eliminated Braun Strowman at Survivor Series a few years back. So he is a viable threat.
You need to buy a Baron Corbin shirt and just start making a ton of videos like that, like Sam does.
Baron Corbin facts.
There you go, man. All righty, man. You take it easy.
All right, thank you.
All
right.